Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today. We are pulling back the curtain on a totally hidden layer of the internet that global creators, marketers, and data analysts use every single day. We're demystifying TikTok proxies and looking exactly at how they break down digital barriers. If you've ever wondered how social media managers run dozens of global accounts effortlessly, or how users access region-locked content without a hitch, you're absolutely in the right place. We're going to unpack the hidden technical mechanics that make it all possible. Let's get started. Okay, let's dive right into this. Over 1 billion. That's the number of active monthly users currently on TikTok. It's just massive. To put that into perspective, we're talking about search engine activity that actually rivals Google. For marketers, creators, and brands, this isn't just a fun social platform anymore. It's an absolute necessity for global reach. The scale and potential here are immense. But with that massive reach comes some incredibly strict digital borders and technical roadblocks. Which brings us to a very small, but honestly incredibly frustrating number, 3. By default, TikTok strictly limits users to just 3 accounts per device. Now, if you're just a casual user scrolling for fun, 3 accounts is plenty, right? But if you're a social media manager, an agency, or a marketer juggling multiple channels across different territories, this rigid limit creates a massive hurdle. You can't exactly build a giant tower of burner phones on your desk for every 3 accounts you manage. You need a technical workaround. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the broader TikTok restriction problem. Second, the technical solution, the TikTok proxy. Third, why people actually use them. Fourth, we'll compare the different proxy types. And finally, number 5, are proxies actually legal? All right, section 1, the TikTok restriction problem. Because, the barriers users face, they go way beyond just account limits on a single phone. The reality is, TikTok faces some major resistance and skepticism globally, which has led to outright bans and heavy restrictions based entirely on your regional IP address. Just looking impartially at the facts here, India has completely banned the app nationwide. Meanwhile, defense ministries and parliaments in the UK, Canada, and Denmark strictly prohibit their employees from using the app over intelligence and security concerns. So, if your IP address pings from one of those restricted networks or regions, you're entirely blocked from the platform. Boom, just like that. Which brings us to section 2, enter the TikTok proxy. This is the technical solution users turn to when they need to bypass those rigid digital borders. So what is it exactly? Well, a proxy is essentially an invisible gateway. Think of it like a highly secure middleman, an intermediary server that basically sits right between you, the user, and your destination, which in this case is TikTok. When you use a proxy, it completely masks your original IP address. So instead of TikTok seeing who and where you really are, they only see the identity and location of the secure middleman. Here's the exact digital pathway. Normally, your phone or computer connects directly to TikTok, right? But with a proxy, your device sends a web request to an intermediary server first. Now, the server could literally be located anywhere in the world. It takes your request, slaps a brand new IP address on it, and then sends it to TikTok. TikTok grants access, sends the data back to the server, which then securely forwards it right back to your device. You remain completely hidden behind the gateway. Moving on to section 3. Why use a proxy? What are these specific, practical reasons someone would actually go through the trouble of configuring this intermediary gateway? Well, here are the core use cases broken down. First, like we just talked about, bypassing regional and government bans. By routing through a server in an unrestricted country, you instantly regain access. Second, managing multiple accounts. When you use a proxy pool, each account gets its own unique IP address, completely bypassing that frustrating 3-account limit per device. Third, generating engagement. Marketers sometimes use proxies alongside automation to mass create accounts and generate reach. Though it's definitely worth noting, our source heavily advises that using fake engagement often just artificially inflates metrics without providing any real value. And finally, pure privacy. Sometimes it's literally just about hiding your true identity and physical location from the app. All right, section 4, comparing the proxy types. Because as it turns out, not all proxies are created equal. Let's get a little granular here and compare the specific tools. Let's look at the 2 main heavyweights, data center versus residential proxies. So data center proxies are pulled from designated servers. They are absolutely blazing fast, which is awesome. But because they don't come from a standard internet provider, they stand out to bot detection systems like a teenager in a trench coat trying to buy a lottery ticket. On the flip side, we have residential proxies. Now, these use real IP addresses generated by actual internet service providers. That means they're linked to real physical locations. Sure, they might be slightly slower than data centers, but they are undeniably more reliable. To TikTok, you just look like a regular everyday person sitting in a house in a specific city. To see how this tech actually impacts users in the real world, listen to this quote from a Proxy Rack customer. They said, "With Proxy Rack, I don't think about proxies and reCAPTCHA anymore. I set them up one time, and now with every request, I have a new IP." This really highlights the power of rotating residential proxies. By constantly swapping your IP address with every single web request, you eliminate those super frustrating CAPTCHA bottlenecks and just fly entirely under the radar. But there's a third type that's especially crucial for our topic today, and that's mobile proxies. Think about it. Almost everyone accesses TikTok via a mobile phone. So mobile proxies route your connection via 3G, 4G, or 5G networks using existing real-world cellular towers. It is quite literally like browsing with another phone from your phone. For a mobile-first app like TikTok, this gives you the absolute ultimate compatibility and the lowest possible chance of being flagged. When we look at the balance of all three types, the strategy really becomes clear. Residential proxies originate from real ISPs, giving you a very low detection risk. Data centers, they give you that super high speed, but carry a much higher risk of getting caught. And mobile proxies originate directly from cell towers, giving you an organic mobile footprint with a very low detection risk. So depending on whether you need pure speed for data scraping or stealth for account management, the origin of your proxy absolutely dictates your strategy. Now, we do need to talk about platform support and detection risk. It's really vital to clarify here, no major social media platform officially supports proxies. None. They want to know exactly who you are. Now, our source does note that TikTok is currently a bit more relaxed about proxies than heavily guarded platforms like Facebook. But make no mistake, using cheap or free proxies will almost certainly get you caught. If you're going to use them, premium, high-quality proxy tools are absolutely necessary to avoid detection and keep your account safe. Which naturally leads us to our fifth and final section, and honestly, the burning question you probably have right now. Are proxies actually legal? Let's lay out the legal guardrails clearly, based on the source material. Yes, proxy servers are generally legal to use for browsing the internet and protecting your privacy. However, the legality heavily depends on your specific jurisdiction and exactly what you are doing with that proxy. While the tech itself is perfectly legal, breaching TikTok's terms of service carries very real risks, primarily the immediate suspension or termination of your accounts. So it's absolutely crucial to review the terms of service and fully understand the platform rules before you start using these powerful tools. So the big takeaway is this: the technology to bypass digital walls and scale your presence definitely exists, and it is highly sophisticated, but it requires a smart strategy. As digital borders continue to tighten all around the world, how will you manage your global footprint while still respecting privacy and platform rules? It is a truly fascinating balancing act between technology, marketing scale, and platform compliance. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.